All right, YouTube. And there we go. And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Welcome back to another edition of the Jedi Academy, the show where we do nothing but answer your questions about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. That's right. This is a straight Q&A show, the longest running Q&A show out there ever. We're coming up on 250 episodes of this show. Damn, I thought we're right behind the old Wednesday night stream for consecutive shows. So yes, if you're new, this is, as I said, a straight Q&A show. I'll tell you how it works in just a second, but just want to welcome you all in on a Saturday morning. My goodness, it's early and I'm ready to go right back to sleepy. But we wake up with caffeine and lots of other things to wake our monkey asses up. And unless you're like Aldous, who's with us today, who's over in Scotland.
Same island, right?
It is, but it's not.
Scotland.
It is
Scotland.
straight. Yeah, I don't remember where you told me in Scotland you were.
Glasgow at the moment.
That's right. I don't know why I thought Aberdeen. I'm like, that's not right. Anyway, if you've never been to Scotland, you should go there because it's ridiculously green, and they like to drink a lot there. And I don't blame them because it's always bloody raining over there. So if you haven't been there, they're gonna go there. But it's late afternoon, and that's why he's drinking beer. And unlike my other guest, BCM, which is for me and him, it's quite early in the morning. We're drinking lots of coffee and other products to amp our ass up to wake up. How are you this morning,
Yes.
BCM?
Yeah, it's definitely morning.
Yeah, it's not morning where Aldous is, but it's definitely morning where we're at. So Aldous
7 a.m. here. So
yeah, it's like good God. Oh well. So that's who we have right now, and we'll get more people on as we normally do. The guests kind of come in hot and heavy off the presses. So you know who we are. We know who you are. This is a pretty simple format. As I said, this is a Q&A show. The way it works on this show is if you have a question that you want to pose to myself or our wonderful guest, all you need to do is put the word question in front of your actual question statement. And we will get them scooped up and get those read out. And the reason I have you do that format is I use Nightbot as a filtering tool. We use the word question as the filtering word so I can get your questions out of the chat and scoop those up. Make sure you follow that format. If you don't, then most likely I'm going to miss your questions. Sometimes you get lucky and I might catch it, but a lot of times I'm not. So if you want your question to be scooped up and answered, that is the best way to do it. Also behooves you to get your questions in sooner rather than later, because sometimes it's rare, but we've had happen where we've had so many people on in the chat asking so many questions that even when I extend the Jedi Academy, because usually we only go for 2 hours, extended for an hour, we still didn't get to all the damn questions. Those were some nut streams, but it has happened before, and I'm sure it'll happen again. So now you know the format, everything. There you go. So go ahead and get your questions in, and we will get those scored away and get those scooped up. Also, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you haven't done it already, if you're here and you like the content, why not subscribe? Then you get the notifications to know when we're doing streams like this, and you can come watch. And hitting the thumbs up just helps the video. It's an easy way to help any content creator is interact with the video by either Twitch or YouTube. If you watch for a long time or do any of that stuff, then you should be good to go. So, also, if you really love the content and you want to see us to continue to do shows like this, think about becoming a Patreon sponsor. Really simple, $5 a month. Hey, you can support RSG and its endeavors to keep paying for stuff, to keep doing content like this all the time. All right, there's all the crap I got to get through with the mechanisms and stuff. So I can see everybody's coming in. Good morning to everybody. Good morning. Hello there. So we got glad to see everybody here bright and early or evening, because we're an international audience out there. I know everybody's all over the world out there, and from the skewers and guests and everybody out in chat. So let's have some fun. Let's answer some SWGOH stuff and let's talk SWGOH. And the first thing I like to say, I'm very proud of myself there, BCM and Aldous. I got my Starkiller finally relic. He's up to relic 6. I just have to finish him.
Nice.
Just need a couple pieces, and he will be relic 7, and then I just have to get him to relic 7 and 8. I need blue data signal. It's screwing me over right now. I'm like, God damn it. God damn blue signal data. But I'm like, you know what? For the next round of GAC, look out. Here comes Ranger with a relic Starkiller. Suck it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's healthy and full of vitamins and minerals. So, but what we do like to do in the opening crawl here, the opening credits, is talk about what's on our mind with Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So as you guys get your questions in, we'll let our guests say what's on your mind. So Aldous, BCM, what's got you thinking this week? We did have the State of the Galaxy. We did have a lot of stuff that was talked about. What's on your mind, guys?
I'm definitely excited for what's coming.
We'll talk about it.
Sure,
let's go to your
time we
garden.
get.
Yeah, let's go to your
nobody knows. They announced we're getting a couple more ships, which
Yeah.
is nice to fill out some fleets, which we've needed for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, I mean, GAX restarted, so it seems like it's going well. We'll see what happens tomorrow when it resets.
Yep.
Because that's the kicker. That's what happened, last week or the week before being canceled. We'll see if that has an effect. I ran into an auto setter for my first round, which I thought we were done with that.
Okay,
But
yeah, those are unicorns these days. Probably when you get
I'm
auto
in cover.
sets, it just means something could have happened where they just didn't.
that could be
real
it.
life happen, because it's very rare in Kyber 1 that you get, or Kyber 2 even, that you get auto sets. So,
Well, he did attack, so I mean, he did
that
clear.
definitely tells you that he did. There was a
Yeah,
boo boo.
he definitely cleared. He cleared some teams, didn't clear his own, but he definitely got through some
Yeah,
teams.
he boo booed there. Yeah.
he has all 3 GLs on defense. So
Yeah.
of course they were all random teams because it was auto sets. I cleared the bottom 2 zones, called it good.
Oh, boy. All right. What about you, Aldous?
Super busy week. So much coming to the game. GAC's back. Conquest is back. Had a great GAC this morning, which I think I've won. And
Nice.
Iden's Omicron. Wow, that is anyone that doesn't have it.
I'm working toward it right now. Yep.
I have a 3-star Iden and G10, G11 took down a Mon Mothma team. Lots to talk about. Lots of stuff. The new ships coming are obviously pretty exciting, so we can talk about those. But yeah, I think it's been an A+ week, maybe A- week maybe for Capital Games in the game. Like the State of the Galaxy was great. So yeah, I think it's good, and lots of speculation on what pilots we might get and Page Tico and things like that. So a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of stuff on the docket. And then the other thing too is we also have to get. They did mention that there was a road ahead coming soon, and some other things that were listed in the very end of the State of the Galaxy post. So if you haven't checked them out, go read those on the forums. If you don't read the forums, just watch the Wednesday night stream for this past week. I cover all the news of the past week in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and I covered Ninth Sister, the new character, talked about the ships, started just all that. The thing that I know that people have been asking me is like, when we get in the road ahead, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. The other one is when you think they're going to do the make good on GAC. And I said no later than Tuesday of next week. I think their main focus is making sure GAC is working. I think that was kind of important, get it launched and make sure there was no boo-boos and stuff. And then they did say that we would get a make good. And it's probably going to take them a hot minute to get all that put together. I mean, you think about every count in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes and then getting it all set up. And I'm not a software guy or anything like that or coding guy, but I'm sure that takes a hot minute to get all that put together. So now, if we don't have it by next Tuesday, I'm going to be really upset with them, and there will be a ranting coming because that's not acceptable. That would have been almost 2 weeks since the thing crashed. It does not take 2 weeks to get crystals out. But Monday or Tuesday next week, if we were to get the make good, and I think they need to go around 2,000, 2,500 crystals with all the gear and currency and everything that should have come with max rewards for the GAC for everybody. you know, and I think that's fair for us missing out. And it's really hampered some people's account. I know it hampered me a little bit because I wasn't getting any crystals other than 260, so it slowed me down on Starkiller a little bit. I know a lot of people are looking for Executor and everything like that. So yeah, people were really needing some of that stuff to get, you know, events done and things. So the gear, everything associated with it should come out, and of course, 3 Clone Wars Chewie shards. Can we get some 3 Clone Wars Chewie shards? That's just tradition.
I'll be upset if I don't get my.
Yeah, I'll be more upset
CWC.
about not really. So yeah.
I actually think the crystal, I think it'll be lower. Reading what they put in the delay announcement, they sort of said no, we didn't cancel it, we delayed it a week. So they are not viewing it as you missing 2 matches or missing a win or missing anything. I think from the statement they put out, they very much are saying that all they did was delay it a week. So I think we'll be nearer 500 to 800 rather than people thinking they're going to get a full 2,000, 3,000 or so. So I think I wouldn't be surprised based on what they said if it's only 500 or 800 we get and it's across the board rather than different levels getting what they get.
I think it's going to be higher, just mainly because of the inconvenience, right? And it would have been different. And here's where I'll disagree. And you could be right, Aldous, but I'll just disagree for fun. We didn't have the inconvenience for one, and two, it really screwed up people's, you know, crystals are tied to this now with GAC. It's not like the old GAC. In the old GAC, if this had happened, we'd be like, oh, well, you know, we wouldn't care, right? Because it was just, there's some stuff, the rewards are not what they are now. I mean, that's the other thing people forget about with all that gear and stuff that's in there. Plus, it really screws up your farming plan on what you're doing and your future content that you're trying to do.
It definitely slammed the brakes on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%. There, 100%. It affects people's plans, but very clearly from that statement, they're talking about it being a delay, and you get the same anyway, and therefore they're only saying it's delay. They're not going to pay out wins. So I reckon it'll be near 500.
Okay. So,
my opinion. My
no,
opinion.
No, it's okay. It's a good guess, man. I don't have any crystal ball. I'm just saying what I think it is and what they should do. And I'm sure BCM now is going to pull a Price is Right and bid $1.
Oh, we already got the 1 credit.
I know, right? So, that's true. Oh,
well,
God.
2. We got 2 for the wins.
So yeah,
I think it could be. Albus brings up a good point. I think it could be somewhere in the middle. Because technically this week is the redo of the week that got canceled.
Yeah, it was a delay.
So, I mean, even winning, it would have been, what, about 1,200 crystals if I won both my second and third round. And then, of course, then you got the end of the week stuff. But if we're redoing the week, I don't see them. I can see them doing like 500 like they did last time. I got a random like 500 once. After I got upgraded to Kyber because they gave me like chromium or something.
Life is Kyber. I don't know. I mean, if they go 500, I mean, anything that they give us on beat, I'll be fine with. But well, I should say that I'll be a little disappointed because I mean, in my opinion, they should go a little bit higher than 500. They really should. And 1,500. It would even be okay. But I mean, if they don't go hard for that with everything that went on with, you know, the inconvenience and everything else. It's, you know, I mean,
people are going to be upset. I mean, it's
So, but I mean, if you want to get goodwill toward the community and say, you know, hey, you know, sorry about that, and here's over the top. Maybe they split the difference with both fart guesses here, 500, or they go around 1,000 or 1,500. I'm okay with that too. So
1,500, a couple Omnis, a couple Zetas, or at least not the full Zetas, but the couple Zeta mats. Maybe a couple Carbantes. Yeah, so a little bit of gear.
I guarantee if it is 500, we'll get the state of the gap. We'll get the road ahead 5 minutes later. We'll get 500 crystals. Everyone will be ready to do a video and type on Reddit. Reddit will be on fire, and the very second they drop that, it will be like 5 minutes later. Oh, here's the road ahead, and then everybody will forget all about it. They'll bury it. I think 500 is fine. I think they'll do it the same across the entire community.
Yeah, if that's what it turns out to be, sure. Why not?
My opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. We got, who else is joining us? Oh, I hear someone joining us. Oh, look, it's Warrior from Warrior Presents.
What's going on?
What's going on? There he is. What's going on, buddy?
How are you doing?
We're doing good. We're just discussing what CG you think they're going to do, or what you'd like them to do for the, because we always start off with like what's on our mind this week, and we're just talking about the GAC make good. What do you think they're going to do, and what would you like them to do?
I don't know. You know what I'd like them to make good is to get rid of ships or fix ships or something, because I just did a better than perfect Grand Arena, and
Executor,
then I had to 3-shot the Executor, and it left me with not enough to clear the other ship. And some Grand Arenas I single shot it, no problem, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy, and other times you sit there and you can't full clear. And if this guy wins because I couldn't full clear, it's just makes you want to punch someone in the face. So yeah. I'm sitting in bed playing my Grand Arena, and my wife's looking at me and she's like, "You said you enjoy this," and I said, "Most of it, most of it, most of it."
Mostly, I mostly enjoy it.
She could hear me. I'm like, motherfucker. Yeah.
Your wife's looking over like you're possessed by a demon.
Yeah, that happens to me too. I cuss, so she's like, "Your game?" I'm like, "Yes." So she's like, "Okay."
She's like, "I'll be right back. I need an old priest and a young priest for your stupid ass." All right. But what do you think about the make good? What do you think they should be doing on that? What would you like to see where, and what do you think they will do?
So it should be a compensation of everything potential. That's not going to happen, but that's what should happen. So what that means is if we missed out on an entire week, which we did, then that means you're going to get an average, probably a 500 a day. I know it's 750 for some and as low as 250 for others, but that's 500 because they have to spread it across everyone. You're talking 500 a day, and then at the end we would have got an additional up to 900, which again take another 500. So you're talking about 7 or 8 ish times 5 is 40. So really there should be a lot of crystals involved in this, but about 4,000. But I don't see them sending 4,000 crystals to everybody.
No.
But that's what everybody deserves, because that's what we were withheld with that specific mode potential. So, and I know there's some that would make hardly any of that, and so they're probably going to go with something like, here's 500 crystals and 3 Shui shards, because that's their class act pass.
Yeah. Well, I hope not. I'm hoping that they go a little bit bigger than that. So, all right. Let's get to the questions, because I'm sure that will cover a lot of the news that we had this week. But let me get this pulled up with Nightbots. Again, just to make sure you guys know the format. If you have a question, make sure you put the word question in front of your actual question statement, or I won't see it. And we will rock and roll. So that being said, let's get this party started. And Nightbot's going to really Nightbot? I thought we talked about this. All right, Nightbot, let's go to our feelings garden. Talk about why you're messing with me. Excuse me. JT question: how many kits does Aldous Sinflight actually read? Well, there you go, Aldous. JT wants to know.
Hell, none. They're too long, they're too complicated, and there are many other content creators that put on beautiful videos where they read them for me. So, I don't read any. It's too complicated.
Words
I learn by making mistakes, and then I get corrected by chat all the time, and then I tend to make those mistakes again. And yeah, it's fine. No, kits are hard. Kits are complicated.
Yep, there you go. Darsign 1972 question: it seemed the State of the Galaxy spent a lot of time on their hierarchy of teams. For the panel, should we be concerned more about more nerfs coming to the game? Yeah. I don't know if you want to call it nerfs, or the other thing that, and I'll let the panel jump on this one, is not just nerfs, but buffs. That post was basically this is how we think. So when you move forward, when we do stuff in the future, whether we increase something or we decrease something, buff or nerf, this is what our thinking is for the hierarchy of power, what we're looking at, and these are all the things. Not, literally, but, generally this is what we're looking at when they're doing that. So for the panel and the question, I think 1,000% you should be concerned for not only just nerfs, but for buffs. How does the panel feel?
I think, the way they described it, it made sense because that's kind of the way the game has been leading to. You have your different hierarchies. You got your GLs on top, you got your legendaries below that, and then you got everybody else. And now with the Omicrons, they're kind of mixing and matching, so they don't want, it's a balance issue too because they put these super tunes, so to speak, in the game. And I can see how they don't want, the cheap, free to play, so to speak, characters beating the higher investment characters. So like a Jedi Master Luke, you need, how many legendaries plus how many other teams as compared to, the Night Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see how it goes.
All right. Anybody else?
I hated it. I don't like. We kind of know what they want. I think the fact of them putting it down, trying to put it down in black and white today is just going to bite them in the backside in the future. Also, I sat there at the end of it going, well, you've missed out what? Okay, it takes me... You're talking about a GL plus their Conquest character, which takes me 3 months to get, but you still haven't really clarified your feeling on SLKR plus what that takes me 7 to 9 months to get. So therefore, what must be better than a Conquest character? But that's not what you mean, because you actually mean that you want Lord Vader plus Maul to not be cheesable with... I think it was a very, very long-winded way of trying to explain we're going to buff Lord Vader soon against that specific counter. And I wish they would just come out and say that rather than kind of being... I don't know, it's like I didn't ask to see their working. I didn't ask them to justify their entire hierarchy. And I understand they put it down. So it's I don't know. For me, I'd rather they talked about the new game modes. It's like, you remember that time when we talked about all our balance and our hierarchy of teams when we didn't need to? And then at the very end, we said, oh, by the way, there's new game modes coming. I don't know. I wasn't... I think that in a month's time, they'll be breaking that. I think they'll have an Inquisitor team or something that will beat it, and that'll be fine then. So yeah. For me, I appreciate them trying to explain it, but I think they're just going to be caught out in 3 months' time when, oh, by the way, it's different now. So I don't know. I can understand what they're trying, and I understand. I don't want to go back into the problems of SLKR and that cheese team, but they kind of missed out teams like Treya. Where does she sit? Where does a Watt sit? Where does a Conquest character? Where does a Raid character sit? So I think they were trying to build a framework where maybe they didn't need to. Is my feeling.
All right. Any thoughts, Warrior?
Yeah. They a long time ago should have done kind of balancing of the game, if you will. They're kind of in this situation because they didn't. So basically every mobile game I've ever played ever had weekly balancing, if not monthly balancing, and they put out reports of how they balanced every character because they wanted the game to be as most fun for the longest term. The creators, when I spoke with them personally years ago, they would say, well, we don't want to do that. We don't want to mess with the game. Like, when somebody pays all this kind of money for a character, we don't really want to mess with that. Like, they're buying into a specific power rate, that kind of thing. But I told them that was always a big problem because that's an excuse. Every game balances but you. And eventually you're going to have a power creep so bad that you're going to have to start nerfing. And when you do it then, and it's not a habit, people are going to be pissed because they will have felt justified. And I spent this money and you've never balanced and now you are balancing. So they should have been doing what they're doing now. They should have been doing that 5.5 years ago to really set the standard and set the pace so people knew and understood that game balancing is healthy, normal, and it should be a thing.
Yeah.
Because there are sometimes unintended consequences. And so that's the part that kind of just bothers me is they're heeding that advice 3 years later, but it's going to upset some people because, and justifiably so, because they've never really properly balanced their game. And now they're trying to do that. They've had a few here or there, but they've never really focused on game balance, if you will, but
they never talked about it.
Right. Every game should have a game balance specialist that balances that after the fact, not before the fact.
Yeah. I mean, because, I'm a beta tester. We try to test stuff as much as we can and get in there and get our hands dirty, but there's only so much we can see, right? and so things get different when it goes into the live environment. A lot of stuff can happen, right? I'm with you 1,000% on that. Who else joined us? Oh, Calvin Awesome's here.
Yeah, what's up, guys? How's it going?
What's going on, buddy?
Not a whole lot. Happy to be here.
Good morning to you, good sir. We're just talking about the State of the Galaxy post. We had a question about it.
Cool.
And it's basically talking about should the community be concerned that there's more nerfs coming to the game based off that post?
No. I mean, the one that we know that's coming is still coming, and I think what they're doing is they're just trying to justify it before it happens.
Right. Which I think has been the consensus. That was my wording. It's like, yeah, they're just giving you a heads up. It's coming, right?
You missed my rant, Calvin, about exactly the same thing. We know it's coming. Just do it.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of get it because I know I'm like this, and I assume most of you guys are like this too. Like, we follow everything. Like, I saw Doja's post about this exact same thing of like the tiered list of what is the strongest like a month ago. But, a lot of people didn't. And when this does go through, there are a lot of people asking questions, and at least they have an answer. You don't have to like the answer, but at least it's been communicated.
Yeah.
In a formal setting.
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook is hilarious when something comes up and it's
gross,
been
man.
known for like 3 months, and somebody's like, "Why did this happen?" It's like that happened 3 months ago.
Dude, my favorite is the orange spots in Conquest. Like, I've seen so many people asking what the orange spots in Conquest are. I'm like, dude, like, all right. It's a good thing they did it.
Yeah, I mean,
there's so many people on Facebook that vary from people who've never played hardly the game at all. They're like a week in and don't know anything, to somebody who they don't check anything and they've been there for 6 years and they're as dumb as a fly. So you're like,
those are the two options, Warrior.
Yeah. Well, and then there's idiots like me that are on there that enjoy the view of those conversations.
You like stirring the pot.
Yeah. No, I try to help. I try to be helpful. I hate when people troll other people. It's just like, this guy's obvious, newbie mentally or whatever. He doesn't know what's going on. Like, let's help him out. Let's not like burn him every time somebody asks a question.
No, I don't ever.
Comes unuseful.
Yeah, I get asked. I've been asked a lot of those questions you guys just brought up, and I always treat it the same. Like, yeah, I mean, this is what it is, because most times I find that if they're being respectful, they literally don't understand or don't know.
Well, there's a ton of layers to this game, like a ton, and we're like, I don't know, 8-9 layers deep, and it does seem weird when someone comes in asking a 2-layer question, like, what does Zal mean? Is Zal a different character from Maul? Like, that's a very that's like a 2nd-layer question.
Right.
I just ran into a guy at work that plays, and he's been playing for like 2 years, and I've been helping him out. It's like, oh no, you got to do X, Y, Z. He goes, why? It's like, oh, because this, and it's like yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
just the range of people. We're the tip of the spear, right? We're deep. We're talking to the creators, or the devs. We're talking to other creators. We're like on the peak. We're on the razor's edge, and a lot of the community isn't.
Yeah, and I don't even do Facebook anymore, so I'm glad Warrior's there to answer that kind of stuff, because I can't. I left Facebook years ago. I'm like, oh God. But yeah, I mean, the questions like the path and conquest, I just treat all those questions like they just don't know, and a lot of times they don't know, and then sometimes you do get that one cheeky person that's just being a dick and stuff. And you're like, okay, all right, I answered your question, but you're obviously being a dumbass, so delete.
I do think the sort of the endlessly used pop up in games to talk about packs you can buy, but rarely use them to kind of divert you to like important things. So I think they could do that a little bit more, because there's people that play these games that might not know about the community or certain forums and things like that. I think they should do that more.
Well, they do pop up every day when you log in, especially when
they did it for the nerfs.
When there's an update, they pop in. There's the newsletter. It tells you can go to the forums, and on the forums you can find stuff if you're really looking for information. So they do that. I mean, they leave it to the person to do that. But yeah, I mean, if you could have a tutorial that they could put in, right? Where it's like if you have a question about something, like they do for the marquees, like when you go in there, one thing I do like about the marquees, even though I'm like I don't really pay attention to them anymore, but if you're a newer player, I can see how those little pop-up windows explaining what the ability does and having you interact with it. That does help a lot with the new characters. I can see them doing something like that.
Make me
Overall.
have to use the ability in the marquee to win it. Don't make me be able to go in and just go auto, and I'm through
They
it.
do,
and I'm
though.
red.
Yeah, they do.
You're forced to
Really?
use each
Yeah.
special, like
You're-
each
Well-
tier.
you're
You're
forced to
forced to
hit
use
it.
one specific thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're forced to click on it,
but I just auto click it. I don't read it, and then my Ray solos the whole
Well,
thing,
we've
and I move
established,
on.
Alice, you don't like to read, and that's you.
Reading's hard. Okay.
You're doing your best at that point. So if you're obligated to click it, you're obligated to click it.
Well, I mean, it would be nice to some of the more used websites that like we all are second nature, like GG, events, all, the forums, all these, like that, the kid I ran into work at, I've been working with him for years, and we just, like I said, just now noticed, and he was looking at, I pulled up GG to look, I was, on a break and just pulled up GG, and he's like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, oh, this is, you need to sign up for this because
This
it
is the
tells you
lifeblood of the
counters.
game.
This tells you everything. And he's like, oh wow. And I'm like, yeah, you could see, I could put your ally code in. I could put my ally code in. We can match. We could, there's all kinds of information there that is handy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just amazed at it. And it's like there should be something like that in the game itself to go, hey, go take a look at this.
Yep.
A resource tab or something like that.
Yeah.
that'd be kind of nice. I mean, they could do that. I think that'd be fair. All right, and who else joined us? Oh, it's the GAC Whisperer, Thany Kyrell. And he's not talking. He does this.
Well,
crap.
now.
Oh, he is awake. He's alive. All right. Well, look who it is, folks. It's Thany Kyrell.
What's going on?
Well,
What I
we're-
missed?
Not much. We just started, man. We're just getting into the questions. So let's rock and roll and let's do some more. Fatality V2. What's going on, buddy? He says, question. I'm building a Starkiller team. What rook level should I take Barris to? Take her. Well, do you need Barris? You don't need Barris for anything for any of the GLs. It's not a GL requirement.
It depends on how you use
Mar-
Barris.
Yeah,
I
go
like
ahead.
to use Barris with my Jawas. So my
She's
Jawas.
you can use her a lot
Yeah.
of places.
Yeah, and plus, and Relic 7, she makes that other team, what he's talking about, a freaking nightmare.
Do you
because of
like
all the
her
healing.
or Visas on that team?
Well, I use both.
Yeah.
Visa
Yeah.
send
Okay.
her, and you don't use GK, but you can replace Barris with GK. That's another stunner. But some people like to keep GK. I don't. But
I don't
So
either.
I vary between GK and Barris on that team. But a lot of times I'll put GK on that team
Yeah.
and then use Barris with my Jawas because I end up getting like 61, 62 points using Jawas. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm definitely taking that team in.
Yeah, especially when you're doing the Utini bomb. This makes life a little bit
But it depends
easier.
on what you see. If you don't have, if your competitor doesn't have a certain teams, then you want to go all in on other teams. But if they've got everything, you kind of have to start spreading yourself thin too. So
All right, but 3 to 5 on her should be fine on that. I mean, I try not to go above 5 of a character because there's so many characters that need relic 7 and 8 for all these requirements and stuff. Ideally in a perfect world, relic 7 minimum, relic 8, but we're not even close to being sniffing enough material unless you're spending a fortune in this game to do something like that for every character.
and I'm the luckiest guy ever. I have gotten 3 14s and a 19, and I've only sliced a couple mods today. And these mods are the ones that we got out of the store, the health mods for $4.99 and the speed mods for $4.99.
Mm-hmm.
I said F it, and I bought those packs, $20, whatever. And I've gotten 4, 3 of them at 14 and 1 at 19.
Well, you're doing better. Yeah, I'm glad to see
I
someone
don't
is
normally
there.
do well like this with those packs.
Yeah,
but
Rub it in.
Yeah, mod
Yeah,
depression's
I
a
am. That's
thing
what I'm
that mod depression's a thing for me. So yeah, no, gross. Just thinking about mod depression right now. All right, I'm over it. Let's go to, but yeah, just take her to 3 to 5 and you should be fine. Fatality. Momod Nadon has a question. Says, what is a good comp for Sign of Django and TW without Finnick? Can he kill GLs without her? No.
Yeah.
Can he? I mean,
Yeah.
she's kind of an important piece. What do you do?
I've seen-
Get that shit out of here, Warrior. You son of a bitch.
Dude, that's the fifth one. This one's 15. I can't
Oh
even believe
my
this.
god. All right. Quit.
I've seen a lot of people switching her for dash, but it goes down a little bit, like
Yeah,
in quality.
Yeah, I mean,
You can still beat a GL with it. It's just not going to be as consistent.
no, it's not. We were going to say something there, Thane?
Yeah, you can run Nest.
You can run Nest, that's true. But I mean, Phoenix, man, that's the next team I'm
She's the
working
new
on.
Dark Trooper.
She is. I mean, that 5-hit, and plus once you get a relic, she hits like a bloody truck, man. Holy God, she's awful. She's so good on that team. She just goes in there. Plus her AoE is unbelievable with that armor shred and stuff. I mean, it is really, she's fantastic. I mean, that's, now that I got Starkiller scored away, that's the next team I'm putting up. Not just for TW, but for GAC. That team is really sick good. I mean, Dad Bod Boba Fett with Fennec and the rest. I mean, it's a really nice ass team. And so I plan on using it. Were we setting it up for the Vader counter there, GAC Whisper?
Yeah, Vader, Ray. He comes a couple stuff.
Yeah, so
See?
even in GAC. So he's nice. His gearing sucks. Man, Starkiller's gear, good lord. I give up, man. Let's talk about this. I'm sure we'll get a question on it, but I wanted to bring it up to the panel, man. We need to get the second tier of gear, and we need to start. They've addressed the one pain point, which is getting characters to 12. I think they've done a fabulous job with that. The Carbantes, the stun guns, the stun cuffs, things of that nature, especially for newer mid-tier and even lower end-game players. But, man, we got to do something about Gear 12. The problem with Gear 12 is twofold. One, you need it to take characters to Relic. But you can't take them high relics because you have to use the same stupid gear to get relic, salvage, so you can take.
It's like a relic 5 too. It's not even like relic 8.
No, it's relic 5. So I mean, we've got
need the electrode. Whatchamacallits.
All of it. Just there, you have your
Chirotex.
There's all of it. Just poo poo. We've got to do something about it.
I'm actually pretty good on Chirotex.
Well, don't worry.
Furnaces are the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
All the right side. Furnaces, the data pads, the cuffs.
The shower heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're paying. There's one more that's constantly there as well. I'm trying to remember what it is.
What'd you get?
Of another 14. This is insane. I've never had this much. Mine is weird for gear. I normally stockpile absolutely everything, and whenever a new character comes out, it's not a big deal, whatever. But I am running out of Carbantes, good old fashioned Mark III Carbantes, and I am like out completely. Did they take them out of the weekly challenges or something? Because
no, they just increased the other gear. So by default, it looks like you're getting less.
Well, no, I've never in 5 years I've never ran out of Carbantes.
Well, a lot of the newer
I always had enough of those. And
the newer characters take a shit ton of Carbantes. That's been the other thing. They've taken a buttload of MK3s. If you go back and look like Starkiller alone, I think it was like 400 or 500 right there just for that one character. I mean, if you think about it, even if you have like 1,000 sitting in your inventory, one character like Starkiller, that's half your stuff gone just like that. And then the other characters too, as you level them up, not as many, but 200-300. That shit adds up quick. It really does. Because I'm the same thing, and I'm looking at all the characters that I'm working on right now that are the newer characters, and it's just been Chirotex and Carbantes. It is not stun guns, it's not stun cuffs, but it's not droid collars, it's the good old fashioned MK3s. But I'm not too upset about that because we can get those. It just takes me a couple days sometimes to get them. The Chirotex and the Carbantes. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Warrior. I'm in the same boat, man. It's like, what the hell happened to all the mark? Because at one point I had like 700-800 of them, and then after a couple characters, like, wait a minute. Am I out of Corbin? Son of a bitch. It's like, I did Omega, I did this, I did that. I'm like, oh no, this is horrible. What is happening? All right.
Can I?
Yeah, jump in.
On the next stage of the gearing thing, I would love it if in the next State of the Galaxy, since they talked about the meta of, I'd like them to talk about the meta of gear. Because quite clearly, every bit of gear has a value to them and a value to us. And therefore, when they're launching new characters now, they're looking for 300-400 Chirotex to take them to G13. You know, they're looking for a lot more stuff now than they used to. So there quite clearly is a gearing creep. And as they're launching more and more people, they're launching higher and higher. So I think it's okay for them to do. It's okay for them to give us more, but if they're just going to increase the hill by the same amount, or if they're going to increase it by even more, there's kind of two factors here. It's not just about how much I get it. It's about how much they're trying to have me use it. So I'd like them to do a post on the value of G12 gear, how they view it. I'd like them to they did some beautiful stuff previously with the graphs about the input of, was it Zetas in the game, or I think it was Zetas in the game and Zeta usage or something like that. I think there's a great opportunity for them to be a little bit more transparent in how many cryos people are getting and what that looks like, and how many therefore they want you to use for a character. I think so rather than just go, right, I'm going to give you G12 pieces, give me a post on why. Give me a post on why that's the right amount today, what that's going to mean for the characters going forward. Because if you just give me more, and then the very second, like a week later, you launch a character needs 5 million of those, then I've not moved any further forward. So yeah, so I'd like.
You're missing the biggest thing, which is the developers cherry pick. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just a fact. When they did that, you're talking about, they showed how they were increasing gear, and they were trying to justify their stance on gear. And they actually showed Mark III Carbantes, and they showed that we were getting an average of 4 a week more, which equaled 16 more from 5 years ago to now. Like, we're getting 16 a week more. But what you're saying, it brings to a negative light, which is, one, they didn't talk about other gear that does not have those same valuable increases, and two, they didn't talk about the increase in output, which is what you're talking about, because that would also be negative. And you're absolutely right. The characters coming out now, when they need 500 cryotechs, it's like, so what if you give me 3 more a day in the thing? It's not keeping up with output. So if you're going to cherry pick what characters you're taking up, then the increase makes a little bit of sense. But if you want to try to unlock what they're giving you, it's impossible.
Yeah, what's the strategy? I mean, it's like, they're giving you a few more gears to your bike, but then they're increasing the hill massively, so the bike is still not as good as it was before. So I think there's two sides to this. It's not just how much more do we get, it's what the implication a month later for the next character. And as they're going to explain the meta to me, explain that to me. I'd appreciate that. But I understand that stats are good.
Our pay raises aren't keeping up with inflation.
And that's the economic lesson ends. All right. Let's see here. What else? 3 question. How much longer do you think it'll be before we see the new and improved Lord Vader? Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. I mean, they put the couple posts about the different stuff about Lord Vader and some other things about that characters and interactions.
I have a theory.
All right, let's hear your theory there, buddy.
I have a theory that they're going to wait until the rest of the Inquisitors come out to see how they function under Lord Vader until they touch Lord Vader.
That's a possibility.
Because the Inquisitors are both Empire and unaligned Force users, both of which Lord Vader gets benefits from and gives benefits to.
That's true, unless they're planning on the Inquisitors being like a Bad Batch team where they're
they're absolutely going to be a Bad Batch
that's what their
team.
plan is.
Yeah. But
whether that happens.
But when it happens, but I think that because right now as it is, the Ninth Sister's already becoming meta with Lord Vader, so with the introduction of the rest, I can see them kind of being like, okay, well, you can use them with Lord Vader, or you can use them as their own standalone team. So I think they're just waiting to see what that interaction looks like before they pull a trigger or anything.
All right. Well, I mean, anybody else think it's going to be later or sooner? Thoughts on it? If not, we'll go to the next question.
He's right. I think so.
Yeah.
You think he's right? I think. Well, I mean,
go ahead, BCM.
That seems like giving CG a little bit more credit than their history has proven, because they tend to pull the trigger and then have to go back and course correct. So I would assume maybe sooner than they turn around and go, "Oops, we didn't mean to do that."
All right.
I think they'll launch it soon. I think having launched that bit specifically in State of the Galaxy to address why they're nerfing it or changing it, I think they'll do it in the next week, and I think it will come as well with the Road Ahead post. So I think it'll be kind of here's 3 or 4 communications at once. And I do agree that these Inquisitors, their synergy with Lord Vader might be another problem that they haven't actually considered. So I think that the Inquisitors in the long term meant to be a great team, but I think the synergy is something they might have maybe underestimated with Lord Vader. I don't know. So I think it'll be a week. I think they'll nerf it as soon as possible.
All right. Darstein 1972 question. I still think GAC is broken. I attacked on my first attack for perfect banners, and I only got 65 banners, and not the 19 banners for attacking. It cost me the win. I think you mean 10 banners. Anyone else having this problem? I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, I did my GAC last night. First attack was an SLK versus SLKR. We lost 2 characters and didn't have full health protection. We got 66, so I got the 10 points out of 75. So, I mean, seems like it's working. Anybody else seeing anything related to that?
I'm pretty sure I got my 10. It's hard to tell because I didn't have a solo team, so I couldn't really.
My first attack was a 71, and I lost a character.
Oh, there you go. So, yeah, instead of 61, you got a 71. Yeah, it makes that. Well, it seems like it's working, Darstein. Okay, Darstein says, question. Everyone should get 900 for each of the 2 rounds canceled and 750 for the final payout. I doubt CG will do this, but for good customer service, that's what we should get. That's where I kind of came up with my 2,500. You know, just those were the 3 rounds, and then a little bit extra just for the inconvenience for the GAC round. But I think Aldis and BCM were saying we're probably, and I think Warrior 2 all think we're only getting 500 crystals and a Clone Warriors Chewie shards for the delay, as they're calling it, for GAC. Thane, Cal, you think they're going to go higher or lower? I still think they're going to go on the high end. I'm hopeful, but then I'm the idiot of the group. What do you guys think, since we got this question popped up again?
I don't think it's going to be higher, because technically, and this is going to get hate thrown my way, but they don't really owe us anything at this point.
That's true.
Like, we're getting 13 matches and 13 prizes worth of matches in a 12 schedule, so we're already coming out of this at a crystal profit. The issue is, and this is already kind of done, and this sucks, is we're getting more crystals as a whole, but we're not getting them at the right time.
Right.
Like there should have been a 500 or 1,000 or whatever this week when they rescheduled it, because now the Executor is coming back in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And again, overall the crystals you have is going to be the same, or if not more. But now the crystals you wouldn't have gotten in that one little week or whatever, you can't use it against the Executor. So the make good should have already happened.
I agree.
Because at this point, it's just them being nice. It's not them being fair.
Right. I agree 1,000%. So I said they had by Monday or Tuesday next
They should have done it like a few days ago. Like, it should have been 500 or 1,000 or whatever.
Yeah, just put it out there, get it done, and be done with it. But we'll see what they do. So, remember Jedi. Question: if there is one, what is the biggest budget counter to Omni Dash? Budget team that can to beat the Dash. I'm assuming you mean the Dash prepared team on that question there. Remember Jedi. Panel, what do you think? What are some
Barris Jawas?
Yeah, that's one.
That's what I used. I got 61 on the Barris Jawas.
There you go.
I haven't seen it yet, so
Yeah, but
Just use Barris lead. You get increased defense. She does defense up on top of that, and she heals. And then you've got your Jawas, everyone but Dacha.
yeah.
You know?
Only the old Dachka. I'm trying to think of any other ones for the Dash repair team. It's just you have to go after Vander or Chewie. I mean, Bounty Hunters with Zam can take it out because you just get the payout, and then it's just you just start blowing. Once you disintegrate old Chewbacca's, then you should be okay. But you have to get the payout quick.
Jedi Knight Revan teams too, because you can mark who you need to mark, and you can absorb quite a bit of damage actually. And if you're really afraid, if you know you're not going to go first, then put Barris, or not Barris, but Bastila lead in there for the extra tenacity and extra protection up. You'll survive that initial blast, right? And then you can mark and kill Vandor, and then the team starts to fall apart. Yeah,
I agree. All right, let's see here. What what else? Answer question. What percentage of GC matches do you think the Executor determines the outcome of? I feel like it's in the top reason why someone wins or loses. Yeah, it's up there. It's a high 90 percentile, I would say, because that thing, and it's, even if you're both, all things equal, this is one thing I hate about ships. And we have no way to differentiate. Like characters, we can't do this with ships. If they're the same relic level, there's no mods or anything that separate out speed or anything like that to change the circumstances of the situation. It's just a coin flip, and that sucks. If you get the coin flip, hey, you have a good chance when you can still lose. And that's the other problem too, is because the RNG, when you make your first attacks and stuff, can go horribly wrong. We have all had horrible ship RNG. But it's a coin flip, and it's frustrating because you go through all these other teams and you mod and you set them up correctly, and you get to ships. It's like coin flip, and you have no control over it. It's just whatever the coin flip is, and I can't stand it. I know you can't stand it, Warrior. It's like, oh my god, you just lost. You could lose one because of it. It's just.
Yeah, I don't have it yet, but I've won probably 60-40 with people that have Executor, but I end up blocking the bottom zone so they can't clear it. But it's strategy at that point because I don't have it yet. But from what I've heard, it's the worst meta since the JKR meta.
It's not wrong. It really is horrible. I mean,
so it's not just
go ahead. Thanks.
It's not just Executor. Fleets have always been the make or break point for both VC and TW for a while, even before that ship came out.
Yeah, that's true. But there's always been counters to the ships. And the thing is, it was always about, okay, you need to get this character with, 60 mods. So that way you get the max speed. You beat this ship by 1 speed, and everybody has to do that. And it's like Johnny has to follow Sally because Sally's got 1 more speed, whatever. It's stupid. It was a speed game. But now you can have Relic 9 everything and lose, even on offense in regular arena. So it's a moot point to even because sometimes your ship will target lock then mark, and you get a double tap from XB, and other times the double tap doesn't happen because it's 65%, and sometimes the mark just doesn't land. And
there's too many variables.
Yeah, there's too many variables. And then they, on defense, because AI is like invincible, they always mark, they always get the double tap. You know what I mean? It's like, it's consistent on defense 100% of the time, but the actual variables for you going against you. But then when you're playing Grand Arena and everything, it comes down to your counter, and you could play a counter 100 times, and 90 times out of the 100, you do it just fine. And then 10 times you just get a big FU, and the other ships you bring in, because it's placed just right, you can't win. It's just annoying. The JKR meta was all about mods. So if you sucked, it was because your mods sucked, and that's just on you. You'd have to, farm hard. I think a lot of people learned that lesson there, because if you weren't able to go first. But this ship one, you can literally be better in every way, and a Relic 5 team can kick your ass, and you're like, well, that was awesome. That's sweet. I'm so glad that I invested in that team.
Yeah. And that's the thing I hate about it, because even with the GK, with the Galactic Republic, you had the Malevolence that had a hard counter to it. You can go with your GR fleet, or you can go with the Malevolence fleet. There was just options. Not a lot of good options. Even the Malevolence counter to the Executor is not. It's not a fun counter. It can go bad really quickly. You have to get some RNG with that, even if you have everything maxed out, because if they decide they're going to target the right ship and not miss, you're in trouble. You're hoping for dodges, and a lot of time you ain't getting them, but they will. Trust me, they will get those. So yeah, it sucks right now. Let's see here. Noel Cook question. I like to use Ray Cat R2 on defense. What team do you use with JMK? Ray Cat R2 on defense. What do you use with JMK then? I don't know what the panel thinks. A lot of time if I'm using Ray Cat, then I'll use for Vader Killer. You can put together the Vader Killer that we did in Speed JAC. There's a lot of stuff you can do with JMK with like Cam. You don't have to have Cat. JMK with Cam is pretty gross, actually. I don't know what. Any other thoughts on from the panel on if you don't have Cat? What do you like to do with JMK?
Eris.
You have to bear.
I
I'm just
don't
kidding.
have him.
I'm just kidding. Padme.
Mm-hmm.
Padme's awesome. She's a good filler, and you can make hybrid GR teams no problem without Cat. You don't need Cat to do well. But I found that shoving all those eggs in one basket didn't help me at all. I mean, I'm like, oh, my Rey's got a 20,000 offense because she's got a badass Cat and a badass R2, and I thought that was so cool with a couple of tanks and blah blah blah. Vandor revive bull crap. No, people just one shot it, no big deal. They just take in a standard team and kick its butt, and I'm like, really, that's awesome. So after I saw that, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set standardized teams, and you're either going to know the comp or you're not, and you're going to either win or you're going to lose, and I'm just going to try to outmod you. And that's some of those trick teams don't work anymore because everyone knows about them.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Go ahead.
I don't like. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I love Rey, and I like R2 with Rey now because the stun. I love that, but I wouldn't put Cat there. And I go the same as Warrior, giving people a very, very broad defense where you genuinely have about however many 11, 12 like tricky teams that are modded well with the right kind of turn order and stuff. For me, is way harder because people run out of offense. So yeah, I tend to not put all my eggs in one basket. I'm the same as Warrior.
All right. Let's see here. Ilya, question. Any opinion on the War of Attrition data disk? Is it any good? Should I choose defense formation too? Calvin, you're the Conquest guru here who loves it. You love it. War of Attrition.
War of Attrition for me. So War of Attrition, every time a debuff expires on the opponent, they lose 4% TM, I think. So pairing that up with any of the ones that are giving, dots at the start, or anything, or any of the ones where I think we'll talk a little bit about database later on. I think this Conquest more than any other has had so many different builds of data disks that you can build lots of different types of teams. So pairing a War of Attrition with the caustic emissions gives you the dots. Anytime you hit people. So I think there's a build. So for me, War of Attrition would be I think it's a good one. I think it's a very good one, but you need to pair it with the right others.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
I don't think I've run into that one yet.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I have that one.
It was an older one that's coming back, if I'm not mistaken.
It's old.
I still like my caustic emissions, the amplify agonies. What's the other one? The volatile accelerator.
Volatile accelerator. Yep. Yeah, I think
that's the three combos I tend to use.
Well, yeah, but you can't use that combo very well against that Sector 4 Lord Vader. Holy Jesus, that fight was absolutely horrendous. I had to change all my mods and go stacking offense to beat that thing because the acceleration stuff do nothing against Lord Vader. So I had to go in there and change, and luckily I've gotten the data disc to do like Leaders Resolved and Fervor and all that other stuff where I had just ramp my team up faster than they could because holy God, what were they thinking? Panel, what the hell were they thinking? That is the grossest boss fight I have ever fought. I mean, that was absolutely atrocious. Who thought 200% more damage and 75% reduction on damage? I know Lord Vader has his issues, but when you do that on a GL like that, my sweet Jesus, that was absolutely nuts. I had to go with stims and change out my disc, and even then it took me a couple turns to get the right kind of how to take it on with a little bit of RNG because Maul absolutely goes banana. If you go JMK, he's going to go nuts. I mean, he could possibly, if you get the wrong RNG, he can one-shot your GK, and then he hits ridiculously hard on top of Lord Vader. What the hell was that? I mean, you get up to that point, and the other thing too is, did they inject Malik with steroids? I mean, holy God, that dude and the Darth Revan team, man, I've been avoiding them like the plague, man.
There's
Good
been so
Lord.
many this time, too. It's been a pain. Okay, so Lord Vader, I just used SLKR and beat that in one try. Like that
cheese works. It does work, but I mean, you gotta get lucky with the RNG.
that was, then you hit like, it takes a few minutes and then SLKR hits him for 1 billion damage. But no, the Darth Revan teams, these are a pain in the butt. I had to take off. I started out the Conquest with Entrenched, and I had to take it off because I was having to fight like 3 or 4 Darth Revans per phase, and you can't gain turn meter when you have Entrenched.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it is brought to you by the same committee that brought Overprepared 3 to a Phoenix team that just wipes out GLs because they take 500 turns in a row.
Yeah, I don't know. That's such a stupid mechanic. Oh, God.
I love. Okay, so I've just started
Good old
killing Malik
Sabine.
first. Malik is broken, and also my Treya I don't think's got to 100% on her energy yet, because literally Treya lead for just about everything. I've got Treya lead for a Ray team and things like that, and it's just silly because anytime I'm going against teams that have all this TM nonsense, it's just Treya, and they're killing themselves, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, for the other teams that, like Mon Mothma and stuff like that, if you have a good tray, you can pull that off. But the two that I've watched is the Darth Revan teams have just been absolutely bonkers, and that Lord Vader fight. My goodness, I knew it was going to be a nightmare. I tried the SLKR cheese, but mine's not quite there with the paper zombie, and I was like, okay, let me try the GMK, and I did it, but I had to change like all my, which I think kind of this for this GSA, I'm seeing that this one's working a lot better with all these stacking offense protection and everything else I've got stacking on there, like Leader's Resolve and stuff like that, because it'll amp up your team and then you can just rock and roll. But goodness gracious, God, I sat there for 30 minutes yesterday and I was like, man,
I don't know if the tip works, but there is a one of those perks, those stim things you can buy that puts what's it called? It puts thingy on them. They can't use ability block on for 2 turns.
Yeah.
On the opponent team, and I think it's only about 70 crystals or something like that. So I think when I get there, I'm just going to buy that one. I'm going to put ability block on, and then I'll try the SL card cheese probably. So I think that's something I think somebody else used. I know Bit Dynasty used Skeletrix to beat it, but I think, yeah, so that one in particular, that stem might help.
Problem with the stims and stuff is that, for a lot of people, once you've done enough Conquest, then you have enough credits to, you can buy one of those stems and be like, okay, I'm good, right? Or boosters from the stores and stuff like that. But for those that don't, that are struggling with hard node Conquest, it's a little bit harder because they barely get enough to even buy anything out of the store when they get to the stores. But if you're struggling with the Lord Vader, trust me, I feel you. And the Darth Revans are no fun either. Okay.
I think you get at least a couple, because it looks like I got a med pack and a critical damage one from just beating phase 1, I think.
Yeah, you get a couple, and then I think further up you get another, if you don't buy the $9.99 pack, there's one that's further up around the 400 mark where I think you get like a bunch of stems out of there. It's one of the boosters that are in there. So yeah. All right, let's see here. OBZ question: anyone have a non-GL data discounter for Lord Vader Sector 4? Oh, we just talked about this. I have 4.5 million GP account and barely beat it with C. I'm 111 on the feats. Just be glad you got through it, OBZ. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, the discs that I use were stacking fervor and all that other stuff. It was Leader's Resolve. It was make my GL I went in there, which was Kenobi, like ramped up so that each time I was doing, you do the call and assist one too, so you're just constantly stacking offense so that you're when he gets down to it. And I went in there with JNK Gas, Cat, GK, and then Snips, and then just had the big 3 ramp up. I knew GK was going to get burnt, and he did. I don't know. Anybody got a data disc set that besides that you think?
I'm still thinking that I'm still working towards it, but I think the new data disc that they put in for the critical over and the massively overpowered one, I think that's the key. I think you got to go back through and unlock those and get both of those on your characters, and then it should be a walk in the park. I think that's what they designed it for, and we're just old school and just kind of smashing through it, like, forcing ourselves through it when I think that's what they wanted us to do, is go back, get those feats, get those cards, and then it probably just is going to be an easy walk in the park.
Yeah, because critical over, after you score 5 times, critical hit 5 times, they get critical over. They get 100% critical chance, 100% critical damage, remove 100% turn meter from the enemy. So it's a nice one, but you have to do 20 battles with Farm Boy and Old Ben, and I recommend you do it in Sector 1, because if you use them anywhere else, you're going to get, well, you'd probably get away with it in Sector 2, but after that, oh boy, look out. Unless yours are highly relicked. Ooh.
Well, I don't think they need to survive, do they? It's just
they don't need
just
to, but it can make your team a little wonky.
just
When it's
throw them
3
in
on
with a slacker team and wipe out some teams on the first.
Yeah, you can. That's what I
phase
plan on doing. I'm gonna be like, all right, let me take my 6 GLs. We'll do a bunch of fights. I'll use some stims, knock it out, 20 battles, and then get the hell out of there. So, but yeah, but
I've been playing a very classic Ray lead with Old Ben, Farm Boy, Bam, and Boba Fett. It's a lovely team.
Sure, it's not.
And it's ticking off those lovely. It wins, but and you tick off both of them at the same time. But yeah, it's I think the key. I think they have designed it as a puzzle, and I think the key is to do those. And I like them gating some feats, but I honestly like the way they've done it. And I also don't mind that if Lord Vader is super hard to beat and it becomes a gate. I like the way you go Starkiller, I think, in the middle of Phase 4. So I like the way you're now facing better teams. Moff Gideon lead should not be the last team in Phase 5 that we had last time. So I like it. I think they've done brilliantly.
All right. Goliath, another question about Lord Vader thing. Question: Conquest boss Lord Vader. I've seen guides for JML use consumables but missing the stack and offense data disk, and still I am not close. Is there anything else that works? No. For JML, good God in heaven. I don't know. I've not heard anybody using JML in that fight.
I'll tell you when I get there.
The 2 that I've heard used that have had the highest success rate, and that's not a very high success rate, is the SLKR Cheese and that's SLKR, Watt, Daka, Zombie, and Hux. The other team is the team that I used, which is JMK and Cat, GK, Gas, and Snips. But other than that, I've not heard of other teams using. If you have, then God bless you. But I've read the forums and I've asked other people. They're like, "Yeah, I went in there with Ray and I died and it was fast and it was over before it started and it was bad." And I'm like, "Okay, well," and then I'm like, "Yeah, I went in there with JML and it was fast and I died and it was over pretty quick." I'm like, God bless America, because I know some people do not have JMK or some of these teams. So a
lot of people only have 1 GL.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do if you only have one?
Whoever beat it with C, I don't know who asked that question or who said that, but like, props to you, man. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah. How did you live? Oh my God. I'd like to see that. Let's see here. Helenix, question for BCM. As a fellow, and you know it's going to be a ridiculous question, BCM.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I saw this earlier.
Yeah. As a fellow bearded SWGOH gamer, what if any products do you use for such amazing beard results? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh my God, really, Helenix?
This is all natural.
Yeah. See,
but shampoo and conditioner, man.
Yeah. He uses the fine oils and berries from nature. There you go. Go find some oils and berries from nature and put it in your beard there, Helenix. Let me know how that goes. God. Nathan H. question. Well, we've kind of covered this. What disc do you recommend for Lord Vader in the last 2 bosses? We talked about it. I think we've beaten that one to death now. Darstein 1972 question for Warrior. I am in the game boat as you. I'm in this same boat as you with Executor. How would you fix the Executor mirror issues for more consistency in GAC?
Take away the RNG component of that, where marked doesn't land sometimes, you know, like marked cannot be evaded or marked cannot be avoided, you know, something to that effect. Because I mean, the whole point of raising a level of something is to get a value out of that. And if it's devalued because there's a component that is saying occasionally, nope, you're not going to, even though the Relic 5 that you're going against is going to, the inconsistency, if you will, is what drives me absolutely batty. If I lose an arena, I get so mad, I literally just pay 50 crystals to rebeat that person up because I'm pissed. But it's like sometimes you then get re-tripped up again, and the inconsistency is a nightmare. I can go against a team and literally get down and time out with one ship left versus their Houndstooth, and the next battle I win in 60 seconds. It's the exact same team I just lost to. That is not normal for a game balance to have it be so inconsistent that it's like that. So I don't know. I would say that some of those things with those ships needs to be like this. It does this, it's unavoidable, that kind of thing. So anyway, I don't know. They would need to bring it to where there was consistency. So
well, the other thing that I think they need to do is we got to have some way, like we don't have any kind of like mods or anything that we can put on ships right now. So I mean, eventually they're going to have to look at that as a way to separate ships out, because they're all things equal. It's a coin flip, even on the regular ships, depending on which fleet you're running, but it can come down to coin flips too on those ships as well. You have your capital ships and you have your other ships, and if you're tied, it's like who got the first move? It's a coin flip. And I think if there's some way to deviate or differentiate the those stats, that could be a big thing. So I don't know, until we do that, ships is just ships. I just tried not to think about it because I already know that it's just nonsense. So yeah. All right. What else? 3 question. Are there any good non-geo counters for the EP Starkiller team on defense and GAC? Oh, I'm sure there's quite a few. What do you think, panel?
It depends on the rest of the comp they put with it, but the really common ones is Maul Watt, GG Newt, and I think CLS is another really popular one.
Yeah, that CLS can handle it.
It'll vary. Like Barris messes some of them up. GK messes some of them up.
Yeah, I mean the standard one that's pretty much being run right now with variations, right, is EP, Mara, Starkiller, GK, and Visas is a standard team that you'll see. That's kind of the one I'm kind of running. I mean, it's a potent team. Mine, I just got a hole with mine, 2 holes actually, and he's only gear 12. So imagine what he's going to be like when he's relicked. So yeah, CLS, GG. What was the other one that you said? GG.
Maul Watt. Although
yeah.
Maul Watt specifically doesn't work against the GK variant, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really? I thought it would work better because Maul gets angry. he's GK. It's like,
I could be wrong. I might be confusing.
Kenobi!
But I know the swap between them to decide what counter works and what one doesn't.
Yeah, because I mean, regardless of whatever Watt does, I mean, he just you have GK on that team, Maul's gonna go bananas.
I don't think you can get around the taunt. I think that's what it is.
Because
you can't just run down Starkiller.
No, you can't, and that's the problem because GK is just going to sit there. All right, let's see here. Ilya, question: What do you recommend? What do you recommend for a new player to do with their Conquest currency? I have 1.1 million GP. Thanks. Save it, right? Well, you can buy stuff, right?
Conquest.
Gear 12 pieces.
You can do the gear 12 pieces. Yeah, what do you guys think? A new player, 1.1 million GP. What should they be doing with their Conquest currency? It's a good question.
I'd save it. I'd save
you have your cap though.
Yeah, I think the cap's 3,500.
Yeah,
so.
you have to spend it at least once a season.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go gear.
Yeah, the gear 12 stuff is a really good value.
I mean, there's Mark 3 Carbantes in there right now. Well, at least for me, I've got Mark 3 Carbantes, the 5 droid colors, and Nubian.
Nubian.
I do think in a week's time or whatever, when they drop the road ahead with all the crystal thing, they'll also tell you where Razor Crest is going. And I think when we know where Razor Crest goes, that'll tell you whether or not it's worth picking up shards of Cat, who I think is probably the best Conquest. Shoot me if you want, but I think she's the best Conquest character. So whether it's worth picking her up as the 5 shards, 5 shards, 5 shards, whatever, or see where the Razor Crest goes. So I think in a week's time we'll have more information about exactly where it'll go. But yeah, I'd spend on gear, but I'd certainly max out, and then I'd keep it at max level.
There you go. Yeah, I think gear's a good choice. But yeah, watch out for the cap, because forgot about that. That old 3,500. It's 3,500. Yeah. Where if you don't spend it, then if you don't use it, you lose it. All right. Past the top of the hour. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up. We got almost 100 viewers, and we only have 23 likes. We get a few more likes in there. Come on, hit that thumbs up. You want to. It does help get the video out there in the YouTube lands, as the kids like to say, and helps us with helps us get our content out there. So make sure you hit the thumbs up, and remember, if you have a question, again, if you have and I don't see it, it's because you didn't follow the format, and that's okay. If you had a question and you didn't follow the format, just put it in again, but make sure you put the word question in front of your actual question statement, or I'm not going to see the damn question. So help me help you, help me help you, help me help you. So you can see it's a circle action. All right. BZ says, question, just to follow up, I used a Grim Machinations and a Speed Booster to beat Lord Vader with C, Malak, and other Sith. All right, so...
Still impressive, yeah.
Yeah. All right. But you had to use Grim Machinations and a Speed Booster, which is fine.
No, yeah, I mean, you got to... Because if you don't get through that, even without buying whatever, like, you don't get all of Sector 5. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Like, do what you got to do. Like,
yeah,
especially if you 1-2 GL folks, do that.
Yeah. Whatever it takes, get through it. Conquest, Sector 5, I don't know why I've not had any problems with Sector 5. Actually, the feats, I gotta say, Calvin, they won me over a little bit with Conquest with these kind of feats. I have no problem.
This one was a lot nicer.
Man, it's like night and day. The last,
it finally feels like they found their balance between making it kind of a pain in the butt, but not making people hate themselves by doing it.
No, I'm not. Certainly, there's been frustrating moments like when you run into Malak, just like nom nom nom, I'm going to kill your JML. You're like, what the hell is happening? But other than that, I mean, I have no problem with the feats. And the cool thing is, a lot of them you can knock out, which is my biggest complaint.
Naturally,
as you naturally go along. The 500 defeat 500 and the light side, dark side ones you can get, and just all of them all together. It's actually really been really nice to be able just to not think about the feats as hard. And even the sector feats have been really good. I've got no problem with
4 was super easy. Like, you could do it with 2 teams. Like, if you have Bad Batch and Jedi, you can get all those feats by the time you get to the end.
Yeah, the same thing with Sector 5, like the Galactic Republic. You're knocking out 2 because there's armor shred all over the place with the GMK or gas. You can get both the inflict armor shred 20 times and knock out both Galactic Republic fights at the same time too. So those are pretty nice. The only one that I'm like, bleh, defeat 50 enemies with Old Republic units. Bleh. It's like, oh god. But it's still.
All right, Jedi Knight Revan.
Yeah, that's like, oh god, damn it.
Or Candace Under Maul, I guess.
Yeah, whatever, but yeah, it's like, but no, all those feats have been, yeah, I've got to say, they finally, I think they're getting their balance with Conquest. Now, I don't know if it's just because there's a ship coming in as compared to a character.
That crossed my mind too.
But I'm like, I've tested that ship. It's pretty dope. I don't know why it is. Razor Crest one was kind of a little bit easier too. Although they still had a lot of that nonsense, like 14 battles with this team in every sector and a bunch of other stuff. But the ship is.
No, but Razor Crest is the same difficulty as the Cat one. Like, it was.
Yeah. So whatever they're doing, let's just leave it here. You want to mess around?
Yeah, this is good.
We got more discs. We got more choices of disc. I'm okay with that. Hell, they even brought down cooling systems again. Deployable cooling systems. You only have to win 250 battles in Conquest, and then you too can have a deployable cooling system again and have fun with it. Where am I?
And there's consistency to it now with the discs. Like, that was one of the big complaints, is that you can get screwed because you're not guaranteed anything. Now, you're guaranteed 3 discs if you do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And that really brings a lot more consistency to it and a lot less RNG to the whole game mode.
Yeah. I just wanted to see where I'm at with that feat. I only need 149 more kills, and then I'll have the deployable cooling system. That'd be great. That'd be great. Just win. That's what you do, folks. This is how you beat Conquest. Just do 250 battles, get the deployable cooling system, and then go beat the rest of it like it's no problem. There you go. That's the new strat for Conquest. All right. Let me get back in here and see if we got some more questions. Canon Rob 1 says, question, will there be a refund for the restarted GA in the 2 weeks daily? Well, we're getting the daily crystals still. We know when they made the post, it said that they were going to adjust for people that should have been promoted and or whatever they were going to say, right? We will get it's not a refund. We didn't, they're not refunding us anything.
Yeah, the GAC wasn't canceled for the month. They don't owe us a refund.
Right. But yeah,
I don't know how that they did say something about moving people, but I don't know how that's going to work necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't either. They should have just left it where it was and then just fight it out from there. But yeah, just stay tuned, Cannon. We'll get more information on it here soon. Well, we know that it's coming.
There will be something, but I think we discussed it earlier on. So if you go back and watch the video on YouTube, we ranged from 500 crystals up to about 2,000. So go check that bit out at the start. I think we discussed it first, so
yeah.
10-15 minutes into the chat. And you can see the reasons we all gave for why we would say that amount. But yeah, there will be something, but how much it is and when, we're not too sure.
All right. Oh God. All right, Hella next. Let me see this question for Warrior. All right, let me see if there's a hair product question there, Warrior. No, it's not. Okay, that's a bonus. He says, question for Warrior: how should I mod GL Kenobi? Also, what's the general idea of how to make him and his squad work? Turn order, why use, what attack, that type of thing.
General Master Kenobi. I think most people with most of these characters are doing speed with health as far as their sets.
Yeah.
They benefit most from that. You're going to go, critical damage for most of these GLs like Kylo and GMK. You're going to want a critical damage triangle. And then you can either go protection or offense on the cross for Jedi Master Kenobi. I prefer offense, and then go health primaries whenever you can instead of protection when you have the option. So either health and health on the bottom or health and offense on the bottom with the health set and the speed set. As far as turn order, he doesn't have to go first at all. I, in fact, get outsped in arena all the time when I was using him in arena. I haven't used him in arena for a while, but so that doesn't really matter. You do want the faster cat, and that's because there's different combinations of things you can do. A lot of people go for the insta kill right away on their tank, but I actually prefer it's a faster battle if you pass the turn to GK. GK does his turn and does a mass assist. Then you're already at the ultimate at 50%. You can pop the ultimate early. Anyone can target anyone. You just go cat versus cat. Their cat's gone. Their offense is gone. And then you can pick the rest of the team apart real fast. So that's how I do it. It's just a lot faster in a mirror match because the mirror matches suck. So it really just comes down to who has the faster cat if you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the tank GK, I would have him because you can put immunity on him, and they a lot of times will stun him, and then he's immune to damage and stunned, which is like invincibility. So I make him as slow as humanly possible, basically under 200 speed, as much as you can. So, but the rest of the team, it can kind of fall in there where they need to fall in there. So
there you go. All right. I was surprised that there was not a goofy question. Helenix actually asked a legitimate question. So there you go. Cody says, question, should I put the Omicron on Zam even with lower level bounty hunters? That's a great question. I think she's one of my top Omicrons. I think you get so much out of her. I don't know. What's the cutoff? What would be the minimum gear you would, if you had the Omicron, this is for the panel for discussion here. What's the minimum gear level you would use for Zam before you think you get the most benefit out of that Omicron?
Okay, Zamis is brilliant. until I tested the Iden one. The Iden one is broken,
We know
so
Iden kicks ass. We're talking about Zeb. Stay on target, Aldous. I swear.
I'm only saying. Okay. So, assuming this person already has made the correct decision about putting it on Iden, and they're asking now about Zammy.
Why not both?
Yeah. See. Yeah.
So
See.
I think Zammy's is a brilliant Omicron. For me, it's number 2 or 3. It is good. It will surprise people, but you need to have a tanky Bosk. You need to have a fast Zammy. So it depends on your mods. I honestly think there are other Omicrons out there that are more forgiving. I think Qui-Gon Jinn, if you have low-level gear characters, especially Jedi, I think Qui-Gon Jinn's is more problematic, and I think Iden's is also more of a problem.
No, I think Iden's is sick, but I mean, my question remains: what?
I think you meant a problem for your opponent, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, like, if all of your, if you're a,
which is true, Gear 6 Iden does stuff.
If you're a 2 or 3 GP, 2 or 3 million or 1 million GP person, and you're looking at which Omicron to put on, I think Zammy is one of the later ones. I think if you're at 6-7, I think she becomes one of the first ones. But yeah,
I'd agree with that because you have to have. I don't think it's so much about gear as it is like you were saying about mods. Because the issue is if your Zam isn't a certain speed and you let's say you leave this team on defense, the counter doesn't change. Like
Right.
let's say you have a 250 speed Zam because she's gear 8 and your boss is 270 and they go up to 300, or maybe more than that. That you go up to like 320, but your opponent BB8 is going at 330 because the TME gains. So the JTR is still countering the boss. You just wasted an Ami. The
Right.
counter that they were bringing in didn't change. So you have to get her substantially fast for offense or defense. Like the question is there something your boss is beating with Zam or without Zam? And if the answer is yes, that it is beating something else, then cool, do it. But if you can't get her fast enough to the point where you're not able to beat a stronger team like BAM or Starkiller or whatever, then there's no point.
Right. I mean, I think that Zam, just like most of the characters, especially with the Omicron, the higher gear she is, the more the tougher that thing becomes to take on. Like I think my Zam, and I haven't 60'd her mods yet. She's like 315 or something on her speed. I still have to slice all her mods, but you get that extra speed from the relics and as you get the gear pieces on her and stuff. So again, the mods play a part of it, but you're missing out on speed on certain gear levels that will add in stats, because it's not just the speed, it's the other stats too that stack as well, right? So if I was going to just say gear 10 would be where I would say gear 9, gear 10, right around there, depending on the mods that you have on them before you get really high, start getting some dividends on that. But I mean, they're right. I mean, you don't have the right mods and speed on not just her, but on your other characters. I mean, JTR is going to go in there and just absolutely dominate that thing, and you just wasted an Omicron. So make sure that when you guys are doing your Omicrons and you're doing these Zetas and characters and you're trying to set things up, make sure that you have the right idea about speed, what speed set you want, and what's the goal that you want to get for these characters, or they're just going to just cannon fodder at that point. All right, let's get to the next question. Greg Shantz, this question, well, a 3-part question. Oh, okay. Well, let's tackle each of these at a... Well, okay, so he says, 3-part question. You can pick anything in the game. 1, what would the panel remove from the game? 2, what would you bring back to the game? And 3, what would you add to the game? All right, let's start with the first one. What would you remove from the game if you had to... It's like we're in emergency surgery. You have to remove a limb to save this person's life. What are we removing? Aldous, we'll start with you. You don't have to remove anything if you don't want to.
Well, I think there's just a soup song too much gambling mechanics. Surprise mechanics in the game at the moment.
Yeah, surprise.
Therefore, I like it when they gave us a standard 2 Zetas, so I would change it so that I would add. You definitely get this number of Galactic Republic GL tickets, or this number of G12 pieces. Yeah, that's what I would change.
All right, Warrior.
That's what I'd add.
I don't know. That's kind of an interesting question. I hate messing with it and pretending I know better, but there is definitely some inconsistency that I would program out of the game.
Okay. So inconsistency. The Country Viking.
Chips.
There you go. Calvin Awesome.
I would, for like game mode purposes, I would take out dailies. Just I don't want to be going around just clicking sim on stuff. Let me actually just play GAC and Conquest or whatever. And the other thing that I would change is to remove the 2% dodge chance. It's dumb. And remove the 15% chance to resist that has nothing to do with tenacity or potency. Like those two mechanics can go.
All right. And then the GAC Whisper thing.
The CG carrier.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. Okay. Get over it. She's a real person. I'm going to just get you and CG Carry together. And you'll be like, she's awesome. And
There's nothing wrong with her. It's her professional stuff while she was working there. Her work at CG is what I have an issue with.
Wasn't this like 3 years ago?
4.
Yeah, I saw PTSD for that.
Yeah. He has hatred in his heart. And then what would you like to bring back to the game or add to the game? We'll kind of combine those two together, or we'll go around. But this time, I'm going to start from the bottom and work way back up. Thane, what do you think? What would you like to bring back or add to the game?
I wouldn't bring back necessarily anything, but adding. I've said this for a long time. I want a first order ship that can cleanse and get tenacity up. That's what I want.
All right, Calvin, awesome.
Character-wise, I still want a Phantom Menace package. Give me Jar Jar, Padawan, Obi-Wan,
How dare you, sir?
Amidala, etc.
Oh, Queen Amidala. Finally, we are getting results. The Country Viking.
Scout Trooper.
Scout Trooper. There we go. Jason Sudeikis Scout Trooper. Let's add that
Yes,
little caveat,
yes.
right? Every time he gets a critical hit, he punches Baby Yoda. All right. Warrior.
I don't know. Another good question. I don't really have anything.
Why don't you come join us on the Jason Sudeikis
I know,
Scout
right?
Trooper? Come on, Warrior. The water's fine. Come join us on that. All right, there we go. Aldous.
100%. I would bring back the 8 times instead of 5.
Yes.
I think five to me is just
Preach.
It's just not enough. Not enough. 8 was maybe a little bit too much, but
Not in my world.
look, I liked 8 was good because I made much better progress, even though it was costing me the same crystals to refresh it if I did refresh it. But doing 8 and just that little bit more, I think that was the best thing this game ever had. And when they took it away, and I know the whole thing was a mistake that they added it and then they left it, but honestly, that was brilliant. I don't care, but I think we all enjoyed it. Everyone enjoyed it. And actually, it didn't make that big difference to the game. Like, actually, with the cadence and stuff, I think now that they're putting more on the gear we talked about earlier on, I actually think the shards are becoming less and less important. Therefore, give us back the
it's
8.
relics now.
Yep.
Give us back the 8 because you've now got relics. You've now got gear as the gating. So give us the 8 back. What would I add? Well, they've already added my beautiful 2 new tanks that are coming. So do we add the beautiful Paige Tico into the game? Would be the
How dare you?
I know
She should be, because they said they're not going to be crewless.
I know she's got to be, but she is beautiful. And 100% Jar Jar Binks needs to be in this game.
No, he doesn't.
But yeah,
That's
100%
awful.
Jar Jar.
No.
Jar Jar
we
Binks. I don't know-
confused.
Well, I can already tell you that Jar Jar and Porkins are not. The probability of them
but
coming in
a
is
Jar-
slow, very
a
low.
Jar Jar Binks special where he insta kills, but it might be one of their team or one of your team. You don't know.
Oh, that should
He
be a
just
lot of
randomly
fun.
kills. How much fun would that be? Like just.
How about this skill?
Didn't
I
we
give
just
up.
ask for the surprise mechanics to go down?
He has a 25%
Yeah.
chance of giving up, and the team loses.
That is a fun mechanic.
I give up. I give up.
Surprise insta kill.
Oh, Jar
where
Jar
he
using the
randomly-
bomba. Means I don't have a bomba.
Anyway. Sorry, that's my answer.
Yeah. Death to Jar Jar. All right, Ray Rock, let's go to the next question. That was a good question, Craig. Thank you for that. Ray Rock question. Does the panel think the Resistance Bomber and First Order ship is going to be in Galactic Chase? Huzzah, the greatest event ever! Since we haven't had one in over a year with TIE Burner and Rebel Y-Wing.
They said they would be.
Yeah.
They said they were doing the same
yeah.
thing with Conquest. So like this one will be the next 3 will be TIE Fighter. The next one after that will be one of the bombers, and then the next 3 after
Where
that
did they
will be
say
bombers.
that? I didn't see that.
No, it's Galactic Chase.
Yeah, it's Galactic.
These two are
It
going
is
to be
Galactic
Galactic Chase.
Yeah, these are the
Well,
actual.
that's what they said. That's what they said for the TIE Fighter was it's the Galactic Chase.
Well,
They said Conquest Chase, which was really weird.
yeah, it threw
Oh,
people
okay.
completely
That made no
off.
sense. I don't know why they worded it like they did.
Yeah, everyone thought, oh, another Galactic Chase. And I'm like, no, it says Conquest Chase, but it said Chase. So I'm like,
Which is never a term they've used before. It was
Right.
confusing.
yeah,
Well, maybe that's where I got
Yeah,
confused,
yeah.
but that's what I was
See,
thinking
you're
they were going to be doing.
yeah.
But they
That's
haven't said
understandable.
when. They haven't said when, and they haven't said whether it's a cantina or a hard node
Fleet.
or fleet or something. So yeah, that's a bit of information is missing. But yeah, there are definitely some sort of galactic chase.
There you go. All right. Let's see. Next question. We did. Nightbot, come on, buddy. You know you wanna help me. Help me. Nathan H. question: How good do the leftover IT need to be for a 3-star Iden with Omicron need to be?
Oh, the leftover Imperial troopers.
Yeah, live in the Pearl Trooper.
Shall I come in here? Thank God for asking. Thank you, Nathan H, for asking this important question.
Let's go to
Okay,
Warrior,
so-
not Aldous.
Oh.
Go ahead, Aldous. Jesus.
No. Okay, so Iden's Omicron, she starts basically. So basically, she'll kick it off, and she's got a mass attack on her first attack. So I have a 3-star G7 Iden with the Omicron. She's only gear 7. She's rubbish. My other Imperial troopers are G10, G11. In fact, I think I even ran a G8 or 9 Snow in there. If you run a bit of a TM team, the amount of added damage and added protection recovery that they're getting basically will keep Snow, Stark, who are the other rubbish ones I have? The rubbish IT. The
Sure,
rubbish Imperial
Death.
troopers.
Mm-hmm.
Death was in there.
Magma.
And Magma, yeah, Magma was in there. So basically, you're talking about G8, G9, G10 Imperial troopers under a 3-star Iden with the Omicron will take down a Mon Mothma team, which is, I would have said, about 3 or 4 gear levels higher. Remember, you start, so you are hitting Kyle Katarn out the start. And you're mass assisting on Kyle Katarn. So if you can kill Kyle Katarn, you then have the choice to either back it out and actually leave a Mon Mothma team with only 3 if you want to run it that way in GSC and double tap, or you can carry on and the damage is insane. So yeah, the levels are very low, the stars are very low. You're basically taking your rubbish Imperial troopers who are G10, G11, and making them into a viable offense team for GAC.
All right.
Love you, Iden.
What else in the 3 questions? Should we start a donation fund to get Thane a CG carry PTSD support animal? Oh, but does Thane need a Snuggles? He needs a snuggle animal. There we go. We'll do that. We'll start that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. There we go.
Waifu body pillow.
Yeah. Of carry. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you need one, buddy. Let's go to your feelings garden. Let's talk about it. All right.
That's how you win, by loving what you hate.
That's
or
right,
something
see?
like that. I don't know. I don't watch the sequels.
Wow, you got that one completely wrong.
Yeah. You hate what you love what you hate. All right, Darstar 1972 question: why doesn't CG do the accelerated farm for the ships? If they want new players to get to the relic ships, are needed for a lot of stuff. I do not, to this day, understand why we don't have accelerated ships. These ships have been in here a hell of a lot longer than some of these characters that are accelerated. I don't understand.
Aldous has already explained it, and it's because they all would be.
Yeah.
And that's a
Felt that,
problem.
and it's-
Why?
Well, it's a half-forgotten game mode. I mean, let's be honest.
I know.
No, because ships are the main source of crystals at the moment. They decide more GACs than anything else. Therefore, by gating or slowing down ships. They don't want new players to get ships fast because then it speeds them to winning stuff. So no. They're never gonna put.
Never say never.
accelerators.
Never say never, young man.
No.
They will. They
You-
will. They're going to fix ships, but they're only going to do it after they've moved crystals out of ships and 100% into Grand
Right.
Arena.
Yeah.
Once they do that, then there won't be a financial advantage in ships anymore, and then they'll go ahead and do all the things that they've been holding off on. But right now, they understand that that's a crystal give, and they don't want to give crystals, so they're not going to fix those things. But I do see them once they move those crystals, and they are planning on doing that. Once they do that, then and only then will they be willing to kind of take a look at that. But why can't they add some basic stuff that's already programmed into their game, like building ship loadouts? Like, come on. I mean,
I
it's
don't.
in there
Yeah,
for
I don't.
character loadouts.
Yeah, I don't understand. If you can do it for characters, which is a vast quantity more than ships, I don't get that, man. Like, and don't give me the stuff. You did it for one side, which is a hell of a lot more than the other. So don't give me that nonsense. Every time I say, "Well, it's the way this." No, I don't buy that argument.
It's an easy copy paste code. I mean,
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry. That's silly, and that's one thing I do not accept as an answer. I mean, come on. If you hadn't done it before, and this was the thing where we didn't have for characters and or ships, we're like, okay, maybe I could see the argument, but you did it for characters.
we've got it for
God.
mods too.
Yes, you can do mod loadouts, the character loadouts. You can't do ships. Come on, get out of here, use.
I do just pick up on what Warrior said. It was 100% right, but I do. There was an offhand comment about a new GAC format or thing. I wouldn't be surprised because at the moment we're right. Ships is deciding too many GACs. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a slightly altered GAC board where ships is a third zone. So you've got basically front and back twice, and then you have a third zone. And actually, you no longer have ships being so influential. And I think at that point, so I think they'll be working on that. I don't know, obviously, because they don't talk to me. But I think that would be something I would move towards, rather than just. And then I think at that point they might become accelerated farms because they'll become less valuable.
All right, Nathan H. question: what relic level would you take BAM for the fleet arena? I mean, relic 5 BAM works. I mean, I think I've got mine relic 6. I see some people take them to relic 7, or they'll take BAM to relic 6 and then Cad Bane ship to relic 6. I mean,
Isn't there some kind of turn order manipulation with that?
It's something like that. I can't remember what it is.
If you want BAM less than
I think
Cad.
Bane has to be faster. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Bane
want
has
Cad.
to be faster than RC. I didn't pay attention to that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
what
there
I'm
was
told.
some complaints that they had to take mods off BAM to make them slower than CAD because of the turn order thing, and so you want to keep BAM low as possible. I think is what
it's
they were
relic
saying.
3 is
Yeah.
like the sweet spot for him. Because if you get that turn order on that one like not only will you fall less in fleets because it makes it significantly harder for you to beat, it makes your climbs so much easier on offense. I don't bother with that, but yeah, like I faced those teams in arena, and it's like unless like RNG messes up on their end, they're almost impossible to beat. So it's R3. You have to have Razor Crest going after Xanadu. You obviously want to really take the boss on that one. So if anything, you want to relic up a CAD up to like 8 or 7, depending on how fast you need that Xanadu blood going.
Yeah. All right. Nathan H. question: what Disney Plus Star Wars series do you most want that is not currently planned? Darth Bane for me. I want Old Republic. Let's get Keanu Reeves, Darth Revan. Let's make it happen. Let's go. No more stupid Matrix movies. Let's just get him in there. Let's do the role. Let's play it. Let's go. I don't know. Anybody else on the panel? There's so much lore.
What I would have said is Lost Stars, but I'm getting Lost Stars in the works right now, so I'm so happy.
I want to see an X-Wing series.
Rogue Squadron.
Dogfighting. Yeah, Rogue Squadron dogfighting all the way.
Yeah, I could see that one. Anybody else?
I would like to see. Actually, it's very similar. Do you guys remember the Visions episode where
Yes.
there were 2 Jedi out in the kind of out in the outer rim, and they found that one like really, really, really old Sith?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
What was the name of that one? It was number 6, and I can't remember. Was that the? It wasn't the Acolyte. It was
The Wanderer, the Traveler,
something like that. Yeah.
It was something like that. I don't remember. Probably didn't get it right. But I want to see that whole series. All I want to see is 2 Jedi in a time when the Jedi were strictly peacekeepers. They weren't involved in any bureaucracies like they were at the time of the prequel trilogy. But like just before that, where all they're doing is going around and keeping the peace. 500 years or whatever before Anakin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I forgot about Visions. I actually went back and watched it a month ago, and I was like, God, some of these were so good, man.
Yep.
Number 5 was just dynamite. Oh, God. If you guys have not watched Star Wars Vision, you'll love it. Even if you're not an anime junkie like me, and I am a huge anime junkie. So I really, really loved it. They're incredible. Some are better than others, and you're gonna like certain ones more than others depending on what your tastes are. But there's a little bit of something for everybody in those. Anybody else you like to see? Anybody get a little sweat at the question?
KOTOR era stuff. I think those stories, the lore are so popular. They're so rich. I think there's a stuff around that. I think even bringing the, Traya and things like that. And yeah, for me it'd be that. But I love what they're doing about building a more rich, deep environment around the Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. No spoilers, but I like the way they're building breadth into it. So yeah, for me, I like that. So I would almost rather they stuck another one in there and just went, right, we're going to have the child or Grogu as a thing or something like that. But yeah, no, I think they're doing an awesome job. And just keep going. So yeah, I think Kenobi will add on that. Yeah,
I'm excited for Kenobi, man. I really am, and I love that Hayden's coming back and they're all coming. It's just I'm over the moon with May 25th. Yeah, so we have a little bit of a pause.
Yeah.
And just as a note on that, tomorrow I'll be showing the entirety of the Book of Boba. If you didn't get it, I was showing it every Wednesday when it came out in the Discord and RC. I'd run it each episode 2 or 3 times, sometimes 4, depending on the length of the episode. But if you did not see Book of Boba Fett tomorrow, probably 11, 12 o'clock my time, Central, I'm going to show the entirety of the Book of Boba Fett. So if you haven't seen it, I'll tag everybody in Discord like I usually do. And if you want to come watch it, you can. Just make sure you're muted. Keep your just be quiet so everyone else can enjoy it and watch it on the big screen. And yeah, so you can check that out. But yeah, I'm excited for that. But all right, let me see if there's any other questions. If not, then we'll start wrapping it up here. Let me look here one more time. Check to see there's some more questions in there from the fans and stuff. Let me look here real quick. Nope, that's it. You know what? This is a perfect time to start wrapping it up here. So, again, thanks to everybody in the chat for all your questions and participation. Very much appreciated. As I said, if you like the content you see, then please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe so you can get those notifications when RC goes live. We do a lot of live streaming. We are not the video content. I'll leave videos for everybody else. We do nothing but live streaming to have interactions like this show and the other show. So check out all the other content that you have from RSG. So if you want to support the channel, it's Patreon. There's all links in the description. You can join our Discord. You can become a Patreon sponsor. Anything you would like to do to support the channel is always appreciated. And before I let these wonderful, wonderful guests pimp their stuff, do me a favor, after they get done pimping their stuff, go visit their channels, watch their videos, watch their live streams, support these folks as they stream and try to bring their channels up. That's what we do here in the community. We support other content creators. Find the ones that you like and support them. It shows, and it's a nice way to say thank you for being here on a Saturday to take time out of their busy schedules to answer your questions about the game and help you out. That's the simplest way, is to go to their channel, subscribe, watch some of their videos, watch some of their content. That's a great way to show your support. And with that being said, I'm going to let them go around the horn here, as old Grande Patron would say, and pimp their stuff. All right, Mr. Aldous Island Sandfly, pimp your stuff, boy.
Aldous Sandfly. I stream on Twitch on Welcome to Sandflies. It's still the only Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes channel on Twitch that literally welcomes you in the title. Welcome to Sandflies. Love it. We stream in the morning for UK people or late evening for US people, wherever that works. But I just want to say thanks. It's nice to be here. I love coming here every week and chatting to you. And yeah, thank you.
There you go. All right, Warrior up there in the Colorado Rocky Mountain High Oysters. So what's going on with you and your channel, buddy? Loved your GAC last time. That was a lot of fun, man.
Oh yeah, that was a good time. You can find me at Warrior Presents on YouTube or on Twitch as well. A lot of times I'll do my streaming on Twitch and then bring it to my YouTube later. If I do an individual video on a specific topic, though, I'll put it over there. I was going to do one on Bad Batch, but it was the first time running it and it did not go well. And I'll tell you, people think that's an easier team, and it's really, truly not for that cam mission. It's not. So, but anyway, I'm also on Twitter. I do daily updates on Twitter, so you guys can follow me there. It's at Warrior Present.
There you go. Check out Warrior then. Country Viking, where can folks check you out there?
Stream on Twitch, Big Country Mags. So yeah, follows don't cost anything and it helps out.
There you go. And then Calvin, awesome. Where can folks check you out, sir?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch, Calvin_awesome. I stream my GECs every 2 p.m. on Saturday, so that'll be here in a couple of hours. And then as well as Sunday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go. All right. And anything you want to pimp there, Mr. GEC Whisperer?
No, not this time. Hey, how did our defense do, by the way?
We're about to talk about it here after we get done with the stream. Literally once the stream ends, we're going to show, because we lost thing. I don't know how he pulled it off, man. We outmodded this dude and everything. I'm like, what the hell happened? So we'll look at it. I don't have Starkiller. He's Relic 6 now, so that's going to be a big thing for us here moving forward. But we'll talk about what we think happened and then adjust our defense accordingly. So there we go. All right. With that, we're going to call this one done. So make sure you hit the thumbs up, all that crap that I said earlier. And thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. I mean, I know there's a lot going on this week. I think it's Valentine's Day weekend and it's the Super Bowl and there's all kinds of craziness going on. So enjoy the time. Enjoy the time down. I'll be in the Discord tomorrow showing the Book of Boba Fett, and then we'll be back Monday on RSG for our normal, regularly scheduled streaming. And you probably catch me on other channels too, because I'm always jumping around and jumping on people's channels and stuff when they invite me, or they want me to come on and doing videos and things of that nature. So there you go. So with that, everyone have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your morning, evening, night, wherever you are, and we will holla at you.